September 26th, 2024. It's late evening on the Florida coast, and the strongest hurricane ever recorded in this corner of the state is hours from landfall.
Hurricane Helene, now an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm, expected to make landfall in Florida sometime in the next couple of hours. 60 counties under a state of emergency. This is a monster storm.
For days, forecasters had watched Helene grow. What began as a tropical wave in the Western Caribbean had exploded over record-warm Gulf water into a Category 4, a 400-mile-wide monster. By landfall, evacuation orders had emptied the Florida coast, and the worst was still hundreds of miles away.
There are warnings across the entire Florida peninsula right now. Again, Helene moving into the Gulf, expected to intensify rapidly, and the time to prepare will quickly run out. This is a fast-moving storm.
By the next morning, the storm climbs the southern Appalachian Mountains as a tropical storm. 500 miles inland, the rain that started 2 days earlier is still falling. .78 inches, 4 days. The mountains drown. Forecasters had never seen rain like this fall on the Appalachians. The mountain rivers had never crested above the records of 1916. Asheville had not lost contact like this in a century, and the rivers had not yet peaked. The wind never reaches Asheville with full force. The water comes anyway. This is the story of the storm that drowned the Appalachians. To understand what happened in western North Carolina, you have to go back to the week before Helene was even a storm. In the days before Helene formed, a stalled cold front sat across the southern Appalachians. It was already raining over the mountains. The ground was already saturated. Rivers were already running high. By the time Helene's outer bands reached North Carolina, every creek bed and gully in the region was a loaded gun. Asheville sits in a bowl. The French Broad River runs through it. To the south are the Blue Ridge Mountains. To the north are the Black Mountains. To the east are the Pisgah and the Great Smoky Chains. When rain falls on those slopes, every drop has only one direction to go: down, into the river valleys, into the towns built along them. The people who built those towns knew this. The last time the mountain saw a flood of historic scale was July 1916, when a pair of tropical systems collided over the southern Appalachians and killed 80 people. That flood was the worst in regional memory. Every record book in western North Carolina had its watermark. For 108 years, nothing came close. The mountains had not seen a storm like Helene. The river valleys had not been tested at this scale since before the Model T, and the people who lived along those rivers had built their entire infrastructure assuming the 1916 flood was the ceiling. It was not. Helene forms in the Western Caribbean on September 24th. By the 25th, it is tracking north over the Gulf of Mexico, intensifying rapidly. The ocean is hot. The water temperature in the Gulf is more than 2 degrees above average. Helene feeds on it. On September 26th, the storm reaches Category 4, sustained winds 140 miles per hour, a central pressure of 938 millibars. The National Hurricane Center calls it the strongest storm to strike this part of Florida on record.
Hurricane Helene, now an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm, expected to make landfall in Florida sometime in the next couple of hours. 60 counties under a state of emergency. This is a monster storm.
Just before midnight, Helene's eye crosses the coast near the small town of Perry, Florida. Storm surge in Taylor County reaches 15 feet. Coastal communities are erased in the dark. But Helene's worst is not at the coast. The system is unusually large and unusually fast. After landfall, instead of weakening into a tropical depression and stalling out, Helene races north at more than 30 miles per hour. It crosses Georgia in hours. By dawn on the 27th, it is climbing into the southern Appalachians as a tropical storm. That changes everything. When a tropical storm climbs a mountain range, the air is forced upward. The moisture has nowhere to go but out as rain. Helene is carrying record amounts of tropical moisture from the overheated Gulf. The mountains squeeze it like a sponge. Across western North Carolina, the rain falls in sheets. In Asheville, 9.87 inches fall in 2 days, the city's all-time 2-day record. North of Asheville, in the town of Busick in Yancey County, observers measure 30.78 inches over 4 days. Near Cello, 26.65 inches. In Transylvania County, 29.98. These are not flash flood numbers. These are biblical numbers. The French Broad River, the Swannanoa, the Pigeon, the Nolichucky, the Catawba, every major river in western North Carolina rises above its historic flood crest. Records that had stood since 1916 are gone in a single afternoon. By Friday morning, the mountains are not draining anymore. They are flooding from the top down. The storm itself has moved on, but the water has not.
I'm okay. My car's gone.
In Asheville, the French Broad rises into Biltmore Village. Restaurants, art galleries, breweries that line the river are gone under brown water within hours.
Baby, miss us. It's gonna hit the pool though right here. Holy.
The River Arts District, a stretch of artist studios in converted industrial buildings, is buried. Power fails across the city. Cell towers go silent. By midday Friday, Asheville is cut off from the outside world. I-26 to South Carolina is closed by landslides. I-40 to Tennessee collapses in 3 places. The city of 94,000 people is, for the next 36 hours, an island in the mountains.
Whole house.
In the small town of Chimney Rock, on the Broad River, the water arrives faster than anyone has ever seen it. Witnesses describe a wall of brown debris-choked floodwater coming around the bend at the foot of the famous granite cliff. In 30 minutes, half the village is gone.
So much debris. Bub O'Leary's completely demolished. Riverwatch, we were staying right there in that little place. Look at all the stuff, you guys. Oh my gosh.
A third of its 46 businesses are erased. Cars are stacked against trees. The main street is rebuilt by the river into a gravel bed. Just downstream, in Lake Lure, the lake where the 1987 film Dirty Dancing was shot, the dam holds. Barely. The Lake Lure Dam is 124 feet high. Helene's flood tops it completely. Water pours around the sides. Engineers watching the dam tell 1,600 residents downstream to leave. The dam holds for the next hour, then the next. It does not fail, but for one full afternoon, the entire town below is one structural failure away from a wall of water. In the mountains above Asheville, 1,400 landslides start in a single weekend. Hillsides that have been stable for 100 years let go all at once. Houses slide. Roads collapse mid-air. A section of I-40, the main artery between North Carolina and Tennessee, falls into the Pigeon River Gorge. 6,000 miles of road, 1,000 bridges, 126,000 homes. The numbers come later. In the moment, nobody is counting. They are climbing onto roofs. By Friday afternoon, the Asheville VA Medical Center has lost grid power. Generators are running. Patients on life support depend on them. The hospital is not going to last more than another 24 hours without external power restored. Duke Energy has crews staged, but the road to the VA hospital is gone. Trees are down across every approach. Landslides have buried the access road in mud and rock. 2 linemen, Matt Martinka, a journeyman, and Nathan Curley, a line apprentice, get told the route is impossible by vehicle. They go in on foot. Carrying tools, climbing gear, and replacement components, they hike nearly 2 miles through fallen trees, mudslides, and unstable terrain to reach the VA. When they get there, they restore power. The patients on life support keep their machines running.
It was a pretty good feeling. I mean, I feel like we, in our own way, gave back. I mean, them guys have given so much, so in our own way, we gave it back to them.
Martinka and Curley did not have to walk into a destabilized mountain to do that. They could have waited for the roads to be cleared. Veterans on life support would not have lasted that long. They walked. In the flooded valleys of Buncombe and Yancey counties, Matthew Mozzie, the chief of the South Orange Rescue Squad and the lead rescue technician for 1/2 of the North Carolina Helicopter Aquatic Rescue Team, spends the next 10 days in the air. Boat operations, helicopter hoists, swift water extractions from rooftops. By the time he comes off the line, Mozzie has personally helped pull nearly 600 people out of the flood. In Asheville itself, on the morning the rain finally stopped, Gustavo Ponco Bermejo is one of the first people moving. He directs a nonprofit called Beloved Asheville. Within hours of the water cresting, Ponco and his volunteers are at the doors of shelters, of trailer parks, of the working class neighborhoods on the south side of the city, places where the official response would not arrive for days. They bring food, they bring water, they bring formula for infants. They keep showing up for weeks. These were not soldiers. They were a lineman, a rescue diver, a nonprofit director. They lived in the mountains, and the mountains were drowning, so they went to work.
They work all their life to have all the possessions that they have, and in one day, in one morning, they lost everything. My only work is to think about how I can help.
252 people die because of Helene in the United States. 107 of them die in North Carolina. 43 die in a single county. Damage tops $78 billion. North Carolina alone accounts for 53. Helene becomes the second deadliest hurricane to strike the continental United States in 50 years. Only Katrina has killed more. But the number that should matter most is not in the death toll. It is in the rainfall column. 30.78 inches in 4 days. A 2-day Asheville record broken by more than 2 inches. 8 different rivers cresting above marks set in 1916. Helene did not break records by a little. Helene broke records that were set when Woodrow Wilson was president, and it broke them by margins nobody in the meteorological community had modeled as possible. The reason was not just the storm, it was the path. A Category 4 Atlantic hurricane carrying record Gulf moisture, racing across the southeast, hitting a mountain range whose ground was already saturated from a stalled cold front. Every variable was at the wrong end of its range. The mountains squeezed the storm dry, and the rivers had nowhere to put the water. Before Helene, the playbook for hurricane risk in North Carolina ended somewhere east of Charlotte. After Helene, every county in the western half of the state is being remapped. Floodplains drawn 50 years ago are being redrawn. Building codes in the mountain counties are being rewritten around what happened to Chimney Rock. Insurance underwriting in Asheville now factors a storm that did not exist in any model 2 years ago. Helene rewrote what a hurricane is allowed to do. The wind never reached Asheville with full force. The water came anyway. It will come again. The floodwaters eventually receded, but the people who lived through Helene are still rebuilding. Our team spent countless hours researching, writing, animating, and editing this story. If you want to help us continue making documentaries like this, the best thing you can do is support the channel. A like, a comment, or a share goes a long way. And if you've watched all the way to this point, thank you. It genuinely means a lot.